Hi there, my name is Soji. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be going over how to make a basic paint scheme and a spec map for that paint scheme as well. This will cover both sim stamp numbers, where the sim decides your number for you, and custom numbers, where you get to pick your number and keep it. This is especially useful for league applications. So first off, you want to get your paint scheme downloaded. Those are available either from the paint shop in iRacing. If I pull iRacing up here real quick, we're going to be doing the next gen Ford Mustang today, so I'm going to be able to use that as a good example. We're going to go to Paint Car. You get a little sneak peek of what we're going to be building here tonight. But if we scroll down here, I do believe there's an option for, download template right there. So you can get it from here. You can also get it from Trading Paints. It's available there, super easy to grab. No big deal. Just go to their website and download it. And then when you have it, while you're waiting for it to download, hit the like and subscribe down below. It helps me a ton. And also go follow me, twitch.tv/SojiSakata. I do a bunch of iRacing content there. It's a lot of fun. Come out, you won't be disappointed. Now that it's downloaded, what we're going to do is I'm going to use tonight Gimp. Gimp is free software. It is basically Photoshop that you don't have to pay for. And because of that, I'm using it because it's literally accessible to everybody with a computer. And if you're playing iRacing and you don't have a computer, how are you doing that? So everybody who's using iRacing should have a computer, which means you can use Gimp. Super great software, it's very affordable, being free, so that's what we're going to run with. Now, when you get the paint scheme, it's going to look a little different. It's going to look like this. These are your layers. This is what we work with down here. And then this is, of course, your flat, laid-out version of the paint scheme. Now, this paint scheme is already built, so I'm going to just walk you through each step and explain a few things along the way, because spec mapping in particular is a lot more complicated. Let me rephrase that. Spec mapping appears a lot more complicated than it really is. I've seen some tutorials. I have a hack that makes it a lot easier to manage, so hopefully it helps you as much as it helps me. So first thing off, we're going to start with the paintable area. The base usually comes this default blue. You don't really use the base all that much, but just to make sure there's nothing that you don't want any spots of blue on your paint scheme that aren't supposed to be there. So I always just go with good old-fashioned black. Our bucket fill tool appears what we're going to use. We're just going to take and make sure our base is selected. It's the one that's highlighted in gray, dark gray, I should say. We're going to click on any part of the blue car, and it turns black. Easy as that. So the base is done. Now, car patterns are up next. So, you can see I only have one car pattern here when I open this little folder. There's just 009. In reality, there's usually 000, 001, 02, 03, and so on. I picked the one I wanted, and then I deleted all the rest for the sake of keeping it clean and easy to work on. So let's open up that 009. I'm going to make it visible, and we can see the paint scheme I'm working with. This paint scheme did not come with the muscle stripes. I added those on. And to make sure they were centered, I used the wireframe tool. If you go to the turn off before exporting TGA file, you can see there's a wireframe tool that gives you the wireframing of the car. And you can zoom in. It's very, very detailed and very, very close. So if you ever need to see, you can see I've got this stripe lined up with this line, this one lined up with its counterpart on the other side, and I have an even gap to the center line. And then I just simply carried the stripes back. Easy as that. The rest of the paint scheme came from Trading Paints, or iRacing, or wherever you get your scheme. This is what the 009 came with, was the side slashes, and I think the hood was a little different. I modified the hood as well. I simply just colored it in to match so it was all uniform, and then added the stripes over. But this is what I want my paint scheme to look like, so that's what I did. If you ever want to make, let's say, okay, hey, let's say your car comes with muscle stripes and you don't want them. Well, that's easy. Click your car pattern. I don't want those muscle stripes. I want them to just be black like the rest of the car. Just make them black. It's as easy as that. Now they'll blend in with the car and they're gone. I would like to keep my muscle stripes since I made them. But if it's got any part, let's say, okay, I don't want this particular big slash here. Make it black, and it's pretty much gone. I want to keep that, though, of course, so we're going to leave that. So, normally the paint scheme comes in bright green, bright red, and bright blue. To change those colors, simply make sure you're on the layer you want to be on, the car pattern 09 in this case. Use your bucket tool and click, let's say I want that blue stripe to be green. We're going to change it to green. Click it, oh, not that stripe, the middle stripe. And now the middle stripe is green. That easy. Quick and painless. I want it to be blue still, so I'm going to put it back the way it was. But change your colors. Get all your colors wherever you want them. There's no rules. Just put it, the only real rule is make sure you put your paint scheme or your color where you want it. And I just had a really good idea. I'm actually going to make a color change to my car on the fly right here. I'm going to make that blue right there to match the rest of my paint scheme. And we'll adjust that in the spec map later. That'll give me something to do in the spec map to show you how it works. So, once you get your paint scheme in the right colors, and you've got everything the color that you want it, next up is to work on things like your... Wait, where's my pit board at? Oh, right, it's in my layer group. Okay, I forgot. I had a pit board on this thing, but I forgot I have it hidden right now. So, next up is your pit box colors down here. Your pit board you can add as well. I put it in my layer group. It doesn't really matter. It shows up the same as long as it's in the right spot. But pit box colors in particular. If we zoom in, you can see this. Right down here in the very bottom left, you can see red and green. That is your standard pit box. Now, for me, I don't want red and green. So we're going to go with... let's go... I believe red is the toolbox and green is the roof to start with. So I want a black toolbox with a blue awning. That'll match the car nicely. If you don't know what you want, just wait and come back and get it later. That is changeable since it's down there in the corner. You don't do those whenever, it doesn't really matter. I always go up the list because it's a little easier to keep track of for me. Now, in terms of the spoiler, we can change that. I actually think I'm going to mess with this too. Let's make the spoiler bright blue. That'll really stand out. That'll be a good color pop in the back. I like that. Alright, rocker panels. These come carbon fiber. I usually recommend just leaving those. They are fit to the car. They don't really appear, and making them any other color usually looks a little weird. You can mess with them if you want. Trial and error. If you like it, you like it. Personally, I don't. I'm going to just keep them carbon fiber. I think they look nice that way. Same thing with my window blackout. You can see that that changes the window blackout stuff. Here's what the rocker panel stuff changes. You can see there's some hidden stuff under there. Like I said, I just like to leave mine so I don't worry about it. And then the nose blackout, which you can see is the front lip around there. So again, we're going to leave that because I like it that way. Now, car decal. This is where you're able to work with stuff. Super easy. You just kind of mess around with it. I usually recommend not messing with it too much because it does have all of your stuff like your vents on the front of the car, your windshield banner and such. However, I will say it is a good thing to hide your car decal temporarily, if only to... And your window blackout, I believe, as well. Yes. Nope, not the window. Oh, that's what it is. Car mandatory. Hide your car mandatory temporarily and your car decal. And everywhere you can see right here around this part where you're... Especially if you're doing a NASCAR next gen, make sure your name bars are itemed out. Itemed out. I'm focused on this at the moment, and my brain isn't working. Make sure your paint scheme does not overlap onto your number bars, or it won't work right. Or your name bars, I should say. I'm going to get rid of that real quick. And... Uh-oh, where's that stop? There it is. Delete. That solves that problem. Okay, done. So, if you don't have that, don't worry about that step. But if you do have that step, do yourself a favor, save a little time. Anytime there's a windshield banner or a nameplate or something, hide it and delete whatever's behind it on your actual like car pattern. That way it doesn't interfere later. So, now we're up to sponsorships. So what I do, I make a new layer. It comes up, it's defaulted to layer group. I'm going to name it sponsors. Done. Easy. That way we know what they are. Let's expand those, and you can see I've got a bunch of stuff in here in this file. I've already taken the time to edit it all. So now that I have, I'm just going to go ahead and show you what it looks like when you add all your sponsors in. And I'll show you how to adjust one and add one. So, there are our sponsors. Now, let's say you have a blank car and you want to add one, like this. You go up here to File, Open as Layers, and then open whatever file you want to get. Make sure you have your logo downloaded first, of course. If you don't, go download your logo. And then if for some reason you don't have or your photo has a background and you want just the logo, open a new, you can go to remove.bg. Remove.bg. You can upload a file. Let's use my Cicada Racing Division logo here. And you'll watch, it'll take the gray away from that, so I can have just my logo. Super easy, super simple, free, very effective, gets the job done. We'll get to this part in a minute. So once we have our logo downloaded, you click File, Open as Layers, and then open whatever file you want. And it will load into the thing. Now, to move it around, simply take your, it's called the Move tool. Let's select my number here. Actually, let's do something a little bit easier to see. Let's use this Mountain Dew logo. That'll be a good one to use. Very easy to see. There it is. Okay, zoom in. Now, if I click on this logo, I can drag it around anywhere I want. I don't want to move it, so I'm going to put it back. But you can just move it around. If you want to make it bigger or smaller, you come up here to this tool particularly. It is the 6th over. You right-click on it, and you get Unified Transform, Rotate, Scale. Rotate and Scale are the two big ones I use, and then a bunch of other tools. You don't really use this as much. Flip on occasion you will use, but most of the time it's Rotate and Scale. So, scaling lets you make something bigger or smaller. Rotating, of course, lets you rotate it. And that's pretty much it. Just put everything where you want it. Remember to use your wireframe to make sure it's in the right spots. You can see where things are supposed to be at. So you can see I'm right on the edge of the fender well, but it's on the paint scheme. So we're good there. Position's right. And you can check all of your other sponsors that way. Always remember to turn off your wire. Now, if you're adding custom or if you're having a sim stamp number, make sure your sponsors don't overlap with these green boxes. That's where the sim will stamp your number at. There's a green one here on the back bumper, and then 1, 2, 3 on the door, and even on your pit board. So if you are using a sim stamp number, keep these areas clear. Do not put anything there. If you're doing a custom number, just leave them. Nobody really worries about it. Put it wherever you want. It won't matter. Same thing, you have sponsor blocks if you want some guidance on where to put some sponsors. It kind of gives you a rough idea of where they should be. It's not a hard law. You can mess with it a bit. But this gives you a rough idea because it won't interfere with your number blocks. There will never be purple and green overlapping. And then whatever you do, make sure you make them invisible again. If you leave those on, they will be visible in the end product. Don't leave them on. So, once we've got this, you can go ahead and File, Export As, and then export it to, now this is where it makes a difference. If you are exporting your car and you're doing a sim stamp number, to where the sim decides your number, do not add the spec underscore section of this thing. Just go car underscore insert your iRacing number here. If you are doing a custom number, like I'm doing, you want car underscore num, N-U-M, underscore your number.tga. The spec will come later. Do not use spec. Use either car underscore your number for sim stamp or car underscore num underscore your number.tga for custom numbers. And then export those to a file of your choosing where you know they're at. Then to make sure you have it, what you're going to do, we're going to open, whoops, that's not what I want. Let's go desktop, iRacing assets, next gen, nope, custom paints, and shadow, Raintail Huntrick Special, there we go. Oh, and I went to the wrong place. All right, documents. We're going to go to iRacing, paint, and then the stock car. Pick whatever car you're working on. Mine is the Ford Mustang 2022. Now, we've got our car. I've saved the car underscore num underscore my number. We're going to copy it, and then we're going to paste it over here. I'm not going to paste it because I've already done it. However, what I'm going to do is remove my spec map out of here for the moment. Okay, there we go. So now if we go into iRacing, let's go back. You go to My Content, select the car we're working on, and click Car Model. We can actually see what our paint scheme looks like. And you can see, make sure you have everything in the right spot where you want it. Make sure it looks good. If it doesn't, come back and make adjustments. Oh, actually, I do need to export this. Export as car num. Export. Yes, I forgot. I changed some colors, so I want to see what it looks like. Export. So let's actually do this for real because I made some changes. Copy. Paste. Yep, all right. I know it's already there. I'm just going to replace it. Let's see what that blue spoiler looks like. Oh, yeah. Look, that spoiler turns blue now. That looks cool. Yeah, we'll keep that. I'm down with that. And it also changed my front bumper to blue as well, which is cool. I like that. So, yeah, we'll keep those changes. That looks good. So, we know everything looks good. It's the way we want it. We're in good shape. Let's go ahead and work on the spec map now. Come back to Gimp. Up here's the green custom spec map. We can go ahead and turn off export TGA. We won't need that anymore. Just make sure your wire, number block, and sponsor are off before you do. We can close that file, and I like to click the little chain to make sure I know it's off, and we're good. We don't have to mess with it. Now, to do a custom spec map, we're going to open it. Right under, there's red channel metallic. There is green channel roughness and blue channel clear coat. I'll be honest, there's a lot of complicated ways to do this, but the easiest way I've found is to take your particular... I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Whoops, I don't want to do that. Control Z. Go away. Okay. So the best way I've found to do this is we're going to come down here, we're going to duplicate this layer, our car pattern, 009 that we've started with. We're going to drag that all the way up and put it right under red channel metallic. Right there. Now, when we open this, this is what we're left with. You see, we've got a big old honking black screen, and it's basically our paint design with no logos or sponsors over it. This is where spec mapping gets weird. What you're looking at is not what the sim is going to see. Think of a spec map as a filter, like an Instagram filter. When the sim looks at this spec map, it's not looking to see the color red. Every color has a particular spec map finish assigned to it. That's where the Gabir Motors tool comes in that I showed you earlier. This is the Gabir Motors. It's Gabir motors.com/tools/spec mapping. Very useful tool. Highly recommend using it. So, my base of my car is black. I want that black to be flat. I don't want it to have any reflection at all. I want it to be a flat black like a chalkboard. So, I'm going to come over here to the Gabbier Motors tool. I'm going to choose a color. It's already on black, so I'm just going to leave it there. I think it defaults to a different color, but I've got it set to black already. So, I want it to be flat. And then let's see what that would look like under normal noontime lighting. So you can see no reflections, just jet black and flat. So the spec map color is this, 00CC00. Now, there's color and spec map color. So we've already got our paint scheme created. It's done, it's in the sim. We know it shows up. The spec map is not another paint scheme. It's a lens that the game looks through to see what the color is supposed to be finish-wise. So if I come over here and I type in 00CC00, just like it gave us on the Gabbier Motors tool right here, 00CC00, if I insert that, whoops, I want the rest of there, yeah. If I insert that and I click OK, it gives me this very bright, vivid green color, which is great. That means that when the game sees a spec map file and it sees green, it's going to make whatever color is in that location flat, which is why we made a copy of this. See how nothing's out of place? Every single piece of the... It's a let me remove the sponsors here real quick. You'll see all of our red, blue, and black don't move when I make this appear up here. Oops, wrong button. It's an identical copy, just without all of the filtering and stuff. But you can see none of the red, green, or excuse me, not the green. You can ignore the green, it's invisible anyways. But none of the red, blue, or black moves, which is perfect. So, to do a spec map, all we have to do is make the black turn green, and then the sim will see the green, or the black through the green lens, telling it, hey, that black is going to be flat. So we're going to click the fill tool. We're going to make all of our black bright green. Now, for chrome, oh, missed a spot there, missed a spot there. Okay, so now, the black... Yeah, I already said the black. The red, I want to be chromed. Well, if I come over here to the Gabbier Motors tool, let's select the bright red. And I want it to be chrome. Well, the color and the spec map color are the same. So the sim looks through red to see red. And it knows that that red should be chrome. If I were to say, let's go for purple, maybe. So if I tell it, hey, I want my purple to be chrome, well, it's going to look and say, okay, you need to make the purple red on your spec map. In this case, I'm using red, so red is good. You just leave it. Red is the only color you don't have to mess with if you're doing chrome. The same thing if you wanted flat green, you wouldn't have to mess with it. Now, as for the blue, I want the blue to be satin finish. So let's come back here. Let's go to the blue color that I have, which is the easiest way to check. I want to make sure I have the exact right blue. So we're going to click the eyedropper tool here, color picker. We're going to pick that blue, and we're going to click it over here. That allows me to come down here and get its hex code, 00B1FF. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to bring it back over here to Gabbier Motors. I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to insert 00B1FF. And I want to make it satin. That's what it'll look like. Metallic looks cool. Candy looks cool as well. What's Pearl do? Velvet. Definitely don't want flat. I'm already doing that. Let's actually make it metallic. Change of plans. We're going to make it metallic. Because I can. So, our color to make our blue metallic is E66600. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to bring it back over here, and if I'm right, E66600 is this orange color right here. So we're going to go ahead and take that. Oops. So we're going to use that orange color, and we're going to make all of our blue orange. Which sounds crazy, but believe it or not, it'll show up as a metallic blue when we're done. Make all of the blue orange. Again, keep in mind that this is not changing our paint colors. It's just changing our finish. Alright, so all of the blue is now orange. All of the red is now red because we want it to be chrome. And all of our black is now green. But we're not done yet. Next up is one of the most important parts. Our sponsors. If we just leave our sponsors in their current positions, they will be overlapped by the spec map, and they'll be affected by it. We don't want that. We want our sponsors to be left on top of the base paint scheme. So the way to do that is you take your sponsor folder here that we were using earlier, duplicate that sponsor layer, and then we're going to drag it up, that whole folder full of sponsor files. And we're going to put it right on top of our car pattern we just made. Now you'll notice down here I have this already, layer group car pattern. That was because I've already done this once before. So I'm not going to do it all over again. This was from the previous time I made this paint scheme. I'm just doing it again to show you how it works. And also because I made some changes now. That's the other thing I almost forgot. We need to duplicate our spoiler. Oh, I almost forgot. We need to make our blue spot up here orange as well. I almost missed a spot. First things first, let's drag our spoiler up here as well because we changed its color. We want to make that orange. We want to make... Actually, yeah, that can live there. It's fine. We want to make this blue orange. And we want to make this blue orange. Make sure you don't miss any spots, everybody. So, there we go. Now it's looking a little bit more correct. I forgot those were up there. So, to make a logo appear gloss finish in this game, like it's been put on over top, the simulator looks for the color black. Black means gloss. And that's what we want, is gloss. So, we're going to take and color all of these sponsors in black. However, I'm not going through all that trouble right now. I already did that. So I'm just going to delete that layer. And we're going to use the one I've already done. Layer group copy, make it visible, and you can see all of my sponsors are now in black. And they're all exactly where they're supposed to be. If I move this, see how they haven't moved at all? They're right where they are. Since we copied them, the location is perfect. We don't have to make any adjustments or anything weird, which makes life so much easier. Whoa. What is going on with this? Oh, I know what's going on. So we have these two holes in our spec map. We need to fix those real quick. Because I was fixing the nameplates, it left holes. So simply make those green, and that problem's gone now. I was wondering what those were. So we look, make sure everything is in black, and now we can export this properly. So once you have all your logos blacked out to make them glossy, now if you want to make them a different finish, let's say you want to make this scissor blade show up metallic, well, orange is your metallic color. Whoa, wrong button. I forgot. Make sure you select the scissor blade first in your... There it is. And make it orange, and now it'll show up metallic instead. Personally, I don't like when the logos are anything other than gloss. It doesn't look right to me. So I'm going to keep all of mine black. But you can, if you want to, feel free to play around with it. For the sake of demonstration, we're just going to leave it like this. We've got all our logos blacked out. Our blue is turned to orange for metallic. Our red, we want to be chrome so it gets to stay red. And our black is now green to make it flat. And then I also blacked out my pit board for the sake of making things. I just want my pit board to look normal. So now we're going to file. We're going to export this as. And this is where it changes. We want car spec. Not num. Not just car underscore. This has to be car spec 1010.709 TGA. Export. Yes, I want to replace it. That's fine. We're going to export it to bottom left. Good. Now, let's open up our files here. Now, our car spec has been updated. We're going to click copy. You don't want to just drag it, because that'll remove it from your file. And we want to save the file. That way, if we ever need to come back to it, we can. So we're going to copy it and paste it over here. And you can see now it has added that, and it just made its MIP file right there in front of you. Great. Now we can go to iRacing, and you can see it change right there as I joined. Now all of our blue, you can see, has the metallic finish, which looks sick. All of our logos look like they're on over top of the base paint scheme. They look like they've been added to it, which is cool. They look like they're stuck like stickers. The red is now chrome reflective. You can see it right there as it glints in the light. And everything else is as it should be. If you ever need to make any adjustments, you can always go back in, make those adjustments, re-export, and you're good to go. But it's as simple as that, folks. And dragging and dropping, that's the main trick to the spec mapping that I have found. Dragging your car pattern up, dragging your sponsors up, and if you make any adjustments like I did to the spoiler and dragging that up into the custom spec map folder and adding it into the spec map as like a copy of it, that way nothing moves and everything is right where it's supposed to be. It speeds up the process, it simplifies everything, and it comes out looking incredible. The possibilities are endless. The limitations are only what your imagination can dream up. And it's really, really fun, and it saves you a ton of money. Expect to take a few hours to make your first one. My first one took me like 3 or 4 hours. I kept having trouble. I kept messing up. It took a lot of time. It was frustrating. Now I can reliably make them in about an hour and a half with a little bit of practice. And if I have all of my logos already sourced. If you have to go and source logos and decide on sponsors, that of course takes time as well. But that is how you make a paint scheme in iRacing. I hope this helps. If there's any confusion or anything, I apologize. This is just the methodology that I use to make them. And I hope this is helpful in some way, shape, or form to you. But yeah, definitely get out there, do some racing, have some fun, make some friends. I know I have. It's been one of the best things I've done. And I thank you all for watching. This has been a fun video I've wanted to make for a while now. I look forward to making some more videos. Not everything's going to be iRacing focused, but we're gonna see where the wind takes me in my YouTube content creation. I'm gonna try a handful of different things and see, and kind of go from there. So expect some racing content, expect some reaction content, and we're kind of gonna trial and error this until I find a sweet spot that works for me. But with that being said, my name is Soji. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/SojiSakata, just like my name is spelled with no space. And come watch me. And the league I help run. Of course, I want to plug them as well. I am part of an iRacing league, if you're watching this. The CSC Racing League. We are a no drama, no toxicity style league. We just like racing, having fun, going fast. I am actually the MC for the event. I am your master of ceremonies. I call the races from the booth. My friends Gary, Cameron, Chris, DJ, Twig, and a bunch of others all race in it as well as run it. And there is a lot of fun to be had there. We race a short track league and a cup series. So if you are interested in joining, check us out on Twitch. CSC Racing League, and you'll find all the information you need to join up and come racing with us. Thank you all for watching. My name's Soji. Have a great day, and hopefully we'll see you next time.